Welcome to the Blessed to Teach Show. This is Rick, your host, here on Thursday, July 25th. And we are going to be talking about a ton of new Kyoo, Epstein, Mueller, all kinds of topics. And we have Dustin Nemos in the house decoding with me. We're going to be covering his bitburning.com. And here is the white hat himself. Let me flip over to him. Dustin Nemos. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, Rick. It's good to see you again.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on.
Great. So I see you're home in the studio as well with the Great Awakening book behind you.
Finally home and comfortable again, from the current conference I went to, but it's good to be back.
That's awesome. So we'll talk a little bit about that, but get into the bit burning, and then we'll jump into the Kyoo here in a little bit. We have a packed show for you, though. I see a ton of people on. I see Amy and Gulf Coast and James and Margaret and Chase. Thank you guys. Nixit, Caffeine Addict. Thank you guys for coming. Tucson, Arizona. Where else are we all from? Puerto Rico. I know some people are talking about Puerto Rico, I see. But Southern Cal, thank you guys for all joining us here. I want to quickly go over my sponsor to get out of the way because I want to give the majority of this time to Dustin and really dig into what he's doing. So, guys, death in the family can be hard, but unfortunately we have to deal with it sooner or later. All of us leave behind final expenses such as funeral costs, medical bills, and other debts. In fact, the average funeral alone is between $8,000 and $9,000. Having no insurance when you die can leave your loved ones with a huge bill to deal with, and no one wants that. Take control of your family destiny today and have the satisfaction they will be financially taken care of. Visit ratefamily.com. That's RATE family.com and get a free quote. You can select the best plan to fit your needs and budget. Burial expenses is very easy to budget, for you can even choose how much and how often to make payments. Some members may pay as low as $36 per month due to income level. So again, visit ratefamily.com or call 855-919-RATE. You can see that right here on the screen, ratefamily.com, but it's 855-919-RATE. 855-919-RATE. All right, guys, thanks for supporting my sponsors, and let's move into getting Nemos back on the screen. And then I think I have you right here. Oh, I know what I need to do. I need to grab you right there. There you are. All right, now I've got you on the screen.
Programs are so terrible.
All right, I'll put you up in the corner in a bit because we'll have all the Kyoo post there. But I first wanted to start with a little bit, maybe you can give us just 2 or 3 minutes on the conference you got back from, and then maybe dig into the bit burning. Yeah.
Sure. Well, I went to actually, of all places, Vegas. I guess they had a conference in Vegas, the Freedom Types. It's a cryptocurrency conference, so Crypto Vegas. And it was more for me an opportunity to meet some of the influencers kind of in the freedom side of things. A lot of them aren't necessarily conservatives or Trump supporters, but kind of to the point of stopbitburning.com and the free speech kind of making a stand against censorship. A lot of those guys care a lot about freedom. So it was a networking opportunity. My family and I went, and we mostly stayed in the hotel. We ended up in I guess the hotel that also had a conference of kind of leftist types, every color of hair everywhere. And, some sort of LGBT kind of pride thing. So it was a little awkward for me. But
James Cole saying, hey, Vegas here. So
yeah, I was there for a few days. It was a fun conference. I got to meet some interesting people. G. Edward Griffin was there, author of The Creature from Jekyll Isle. Had a great speech about freedom as well. And it was interesting. I got interviewed once about Kyoo. But and Stop Bit Burning, it's really starting to take off now. It's starting to get out there to a few different people. I've had a number of interviews lately just focused on that topic because people are very interested about the attorney, Todd McMurtry, who's working with us. He's a big, scary name in that world. I mean, he's like a super lawyer. And he's taken on the mainstream media for, the Covington situation where they bullied Nick Sandmann, the child with the MAGA hat that's kind of now famous. And he had death threats, all these other crazy things coming at him. And, some attorney stood up. This is one of those guys. So that's the one I asked first. And he cared about the First Amendment, fortunately.
That's great news. And I can't wait to get that rolling. We've talked a lot up one-on-one here about me personally helping out as well. And I hear that you've also got this word out on some other channels. Why don't you talk a little bit about that?
I've got to say, to your credit, when I first came to you months now, I think ago, it was basically just an idea. And I said, I'm going to form a movement against censorship, and I'm going to get an attorney, and I'm going to try to sneak up on him. And you were right there on board. Yeah, sign me up. It's kind of the attitude you had. Like, let's fight censorship. And I admired you for that greatly. So it's good to have you, at least, interested in the topic to work with me, because Stop Bit Burning is a round table, kind of a free speech round table for influencers to come together and work together. And, the white hat symbolism is the white hat movement. I mean, it's where we go one, we go all, just effective working together strategies. All
right. So I know some people are talking about buffering and no sound, but I'm telling you guys, everything's perfect on this end, and everybody else is giving me 5.5. So give me some 5.5s if you got good sound and good video. But the signal looks awesome here. Yeah, people are saying good here, so everything's awesome. Hey guys, I wanted to. So how can other people, if they're not an influencer but they're a Christian patriot, how can they help or get involved at all?
Well, it's coming. Right now, Stop Bit Burning is a place for updates. It's a place for you to get kind of interview updates when I do something with the attorney. You'll get updates from one of my reporters. She goes by Base Southern Belle online. But she's kind of helping me focus on the censorship and free speech issues, and she's doing a lot of content in that area and interviews in that area, and just bringing news to the fore on that topic. So it's a good place to just get your updates. Soon there will be, ways to monetize that. And my goal is to, rather than just ask people for money in a sense with a donation campaign, try to make YouTubers and influencers like us and Truth Media money by helping their audience with some business thing. I mean, actually, one idea is a self-service White Hat Wireless, which is something that's coming up soon. And the proceeds from that can go to fund a lawsuit. And that's, how many millions of patriots are in the movement already that buy cell phone service? Like, we could fund all the lawsuits with this. And then all of our audience, all of our shows and everything else, just by helping our audiences with that. So just different kinds of things of that nature out there that could help. We're playing around with ideas, maybe an official white hat to sell, It'd be cool to see a white hat everywhere where there's red hats now. Various things like that. So as of now, it's a place to get your updates, and when we have more, which we will, because this is going to be an expensive lawsuit, we'll have kind of some options there. That's the kind of thing I have to get with you and the others that are on board, and we have to figure it out.
Yeah, sounds great. Looking forward to working with you on it. All right, so we have a ton of Kyoo because I was not able to broadcast last night. So some of these, I think you and or your other team have actually covered, right? But I'm all the way back on the 24th, so we're at 3473. Says there are puppet masters. Which is Mueller? Attempt to replace JC as FBI director failed. Attempt to regain FBI control. Plot and plan. Backup to initiate the special counsel to safeguard against criminal prosecution regarding illegal and criminal actions. The special counsel equals blockade. Special counsel equals loss of FBI command and control safeguard. DOJ depends on what agency for investigating criminal actions? Mueller U1. Mueller, Epstein-Barry and cover-up. Mueller, plot to remove duly elected POTUS. Biggest scandal in American history. Treason. 2019, year of the boomerang. Kyoo.
And I love the boomerang memes that are coming out now. They're everywhere on Twitter.
The year of the boomerang and
the entire Democrat Party running from the giant boomerang. Like and it's true in a sense. It is.
Yeah, that's awesome. And obviously some of the questions here, I think people got that the puppet is actually not Mueller. Mueller is the puppet master. Nope. I'm sorry, I reversed that. The puppet masters have Mueller completely under control. You could see he was nervous. He was scared. He was a total puppet doing what he was told. He didn't even know his own report. That was the crazy part about that. I was on the plane, actually, was able to listen to him because I was flying to New York. And I was able to see most of the hearing. And I was just shocked about how little he knew about his own report.
Yeah, and I honestly, he was very sharp when he wanted to be, like when he corrected Nadler. Like, I think he was acting dumb on purpose because he knew that he wouldn't be able to really answer any hard questions, so he had to obfuscate by time. I couldn't hear you. Can you repeat that? Things like that. Couldn't answer a lot of direct questions.
Yeah.
I think that he is kind of himself at risk of going to prison for treason for those reasons right there. Uranium One and things of this nature.
Yeah.
Plot to remove POTUS. But I don't think he is a puppet master. I mean, that they never come out of the shadows willingly. So he's been there in the media limelight, kind of doing some of the groundwork for them.
Yeah. And that's what I was trying to say, is that he is completely a puppet. You could tell, right? The masters are the Soroses of the world, or maybe and the bloodlines that are even above Hillary and Obama. So I don't. But I thought it was an interesting comment about because it became so obvious he was so docile and so not powerful. It was like, whoa, what a disaster for the Democrats. And when I look at this, you're right, the Uranium One, and the one that I thought was interesting is Epstein, Barry, and cover-up. That'd be really interesting if people really understand how evil that is, and that he was actually the cover-up operation for him. Yeah,
and Mueller has so much dirt in his past that when these things really start to come out, his sort of honorable, like, justice, facade is going to come away, and people are going to realize exactly who he is, what he's done, and the energy that he's generated, kind of the anger that he's generated, and rightly so, attacking our president for so long, so hard, so with so much deception. It's going to boomerang back. That's the whole point. He's done it all to himself. They played right into the trap.
Yeah. So if I go to the next one, 3474, this is a tweet by QAnon Pastry Chef. It says, "Who are the real racists? Projection does not work when we the people are awake." And if you look at this tweet, it's interesting. Irrefutable evidence that Elon, Minnesota, is a dangerous racist and bigot. And so this is a little 40-second deal where she's being interviewed.
Conservatives in particular would say that the rise in Islamophobia is a result not of hate, but a fear, a legitimate fear, they say, of quote-unquote jihadist terrorism, whether it's Fort Hood or San Bernardino or the recent truck attack in New York. What do you say to them?
I would say our country should be more fearful of white men across our country, because they are actually
Sorry, I came off the screen trying to...
In this country, we should be profiling, monitoring, and creating policies to fight the radicalization of white men.
A lot of conservatives...
So I don't know if you could hear that, Dustin, or not.
No, but okay. I remember what you said. I was kind of watching on
Yeah, profile. We should be profiling white men.
Yeah, because they're the backbone of Christianity, largely in this country historically, and that he's here to destroy it.
Yeah, that was the goal, right? So, video proof. Ilhan Omar, Democrat, is a real racist. Boy, is that true. Here's another one that's on 3475, and it's basically the definition of the force of nature. Right? And I think this is talking about the storm, I would guess. What do you think was doing with this force of nature?
Well, truth, justice, the storm from the Q movement, sure, any of those things would apply here. I think so.
Yeah, so a mighty natural force which is beyond human control, notably of potentially catastrophic, such as elements. It says, e.g. storms and extreme temperatures, or geological seismic volcanic activity. Figuratively, a thing or person that exhibits qualities which appear to be beyond outside control. And again, a mighty natural force which is beyond human control. So right now, the storm is probably not going to be stopped by even the humans and or these demonic forces. What do you think?
You know what? It's getting to be so bad now that I think that's when the light has the best opportunity to shine. I think really this is the time when the great deeds are done, and there's a great opportunity to stand up against evil because it's so bad.
Exactly. Exciting. I think this is how we're eventually going to unite, is when all this evil is really understood by the masses, right?
Yeah.
So the Great Awakening's all apart, right?
Exactly.
So now they've dropped this 312 drop that has all these decide for yourself. It's pretty long, but I think it's worth reading real quick. Decide for yourself. Be free from outside opinion. Decide for yourself. Be objective in your conclusions. Decide for yourself. Be true in your own belief. Decide for yourself. Be open to following the facts. Decide for yourself. Be strong in defending your beliefs. Decide for yourself. Be resistant to blindly accepting factless statements. Decide for yourself. Be free. Those who attack you, those who mock you, those who coll you, those who control you, those who label you, do they represent you, or do they represent themselves in some form? Mental enslavement. The Great Awakening, freedom of thought, was designed and created not only as a back channel to the public, away from the long-standing mind control of the corrupt and heavily biased media, to endure future events through transparency and regeneration of individual thought, breaking the chains of groupthink, but more importantly, aid in the construction of a vehicle, a ship, don't want to skip that line, that provides the scattered free thinkers with starter, new social networking platform, which allows for freedom of thought, expression, and patriotism or national pride. The feeling of love, devotion, and sense of attachment to a homeland and alliance with other citizens who share the same sentiment. When non-dogmatic information becomes free and transparent, it becomes a threat to those who attempt to control the narrative and or stable. When you are awake, you stand on the outside of stable, groupthink collective, and have free thought. Free thought is a philosophical viewpoint which holds that positions regarding truth should be formed on the basic of logic, reason, and empiricism rather than authority, tradition, revelation, or dogma. When you are awake, you are able to clearly see the choice is yours and yours alone. Trust and put faith in yourself. You are not alone. You are not in the minority. Difficult truths will soon see the light of day. Where we go one, we go all. Kyoo. Woo!
I always get chills with that stuff.
Man, that is like just an amazing post all the way back from 312, right? So, what do you think? Any significance of him reposting that?
Well, it's a reminder now that we really are, it seems, on the precipice of that, like you said, Great Awakening part where people are going to start to really pay attention because it's going to be so bad and so in their face, and it's going to be hard to deny after the Epstein revelations start to really hammer home, and those the Mueller connections, everything kind of comes together at that, and the timing, it's all seems to be coming together for the president very well. So the Mueller D-class is coming to really stamp out that last remnant of the blockade, and then at the same time you have the human trafficking and that of children coming to the forefront through Epstein and then soon Rachel Chandler and others. It's almost time.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. He's saying time is clear, the stage is set, it's ready to roll. And so this is the power of Anon research, Kyoo, in 3477, and it links to a Fox News article. And so now they actually, I think it's talking about that same video if I remember right, but the fact is it's now a full Fox News article. In resurface interview, Ilhan Omar answers question on jihadist terrorism by saying Americans should be more fearful of white men. So just the fact that that's now in not only on Twitter, it's all over even the mainstream media, at least part of the Fox News part of it. If you look at the next one, 3478, a redrop again, relatively long one here, and it says worth remembering, Kyoo. So what's interesting here, and I have not had time to go dig into this, and we'll have to see if this is the one that has all the. I don't know, it's a little bit later, the one that has all the two initials And
No,
you might,
it's not that one. Yeah.
yeah, you might have to help me with that one when we get there.
It's hard to remember all those initials without going back. Yeah.
Yeah, because the White House one had some like MB or something like that. And I was going, okay, I'm sure, what is that? I had to go back and refresh my memory on all this. This one says special approver with a number here, and it says setup executive 1, and it's got a Hill article link from the past about security confirmed special entry for Russian lawyer. So we know that that was this Natalia. It's Natalia V here, who was let in by Loretta Lynch. Paper trail, special entry. So, you know, to me, that's treason right there when you bring in a Russian to actually try to entrap Trump.
Yeah, knowingly is going to be the real key here. And it all goes through Mueller, everything here, Papadopoulos. Yeah.
Exactly. And this talks about FISA warrant issued, approved for Manafort and Mueller. And then it says FISA warrant issued, approved, Papadopoulos, Mueller, Papadopoulos. FISA warrant issued, approved, Page, Mueller, Page. FISA warrant issued, approved, Flynn, Mueller, Flynn. You must target, remove, and silence all those illegally targeted for FISA surveillance, plus UK assistance, plus UK assist, plus FISA surveillance included all upstream collection, plus tangent contacts, umbrella surveillance, foreign target designators, create leapfrog, hops, and isolated real targets, non-FCOMs. Probably, so it's supposed to be non-foreign communications, right? For all this FISA, that's what it is. It's a Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. And so what's intriguing to me is that this 2-hop rule is crazy, because when you have 1 hop, in other words, I can heavily surveil everything of anybody you've ever received an email or sent an email to. That could be, if you have an email that's got 40 people on it, and you send it, and you literally could have thousands of people on 1 hop, and then you get 2 hops, you pretty much have everybody you could possibly know. so to people to say that, you know, with Carter Page and with Papadopoulos, they easily got everybody in the Trump campaign. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
Umbrella surveillance, your grandmother's best friends, nieces, cousins, first boyfriends, you know, second removed. They're all going to get it.
Yeah.
They spy on everybody anyway that way.
Yeah. So Damien's asking, can the AG prosecute Mueller after the congressional hearing? I think they're going to wait until they get him on Uranium One. Much bigger stuff than just maybe lying on a congressional hearing. Any thoughts there?
He's going to start it rolling, though. I think now people have seen he has nothing and he's a bad guy. I think it's going to start it, and that boomerang is going to slingshot back. We'll go all the way through blockade, all the way to Uranium One.
Yeah. Yeah, so P talks to X, X talks to Y, Y talks to Z. That's that 2-hop rule that just allows you to bulk data collection umbrella. UK Assist allows for normal FISA law deconstruct. Deconstruct includes D2 spy insert. Deconstruct includes non-FISA warrant, special ops classified public Q. So worth remembering is that they were basically, this is Spygate, spelled out really well for us. They gamed the FISA process and abused Five Eye program to spy on POTUS. Another worth remembering, it looks like he forgot the attachment here. I went and looked at an 8chan, and it didn't look like there was an attachment on 3479. So I think he was talking about this, which is 34. This 3479 here is. And what's interesting about this, it's back to the reporters. What I really didn't concentrate on last time, that the second time I did, is like, look at this. If you just look at it, like this reporter was talking to the section chief, and it was one meeting, not that big of a deal, but it could be a leak, right? But this reporter actually talked to 21 times this assistant director, and this person talked to the special agent 23 times. So that person talked to those two people 44 times. And look at this reporter, 4 different contacts, probably 8 times there. And then this one, this is the funny one. This reporter talked to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 people in the FBI. Some of them 13 times, 17 times, 3 times, 2 times, 5 times. I think it's like almost 50 times they talked. So they were, the FBI was like leaking like a sieve.
Yeah, and there's also a lot of them that look up to that. What is that, House of Cards lifestyle? I remember one of the MSM types were writing about how she would like to be that one, and then basically sleeping your way in for information.
Yeah, exactly.
That could be happening as well. That stuff's pretty common here.
Yeah, crazy stuff. Now that 3480, I think 3480 caught that 3479. That was just forgot the attachment. I've done that many times in my emails, believe me. So here it is, 3481. Now we have another drop, and it says, important to remember, correlation between FISA abuse, treason remove DE POTUS, the duly elected POTUS, and mid-year investigation, Kyoo. And this just shows the cleaning house that's happened. I'm not going to read all these names again, but this just shows the reporting structure where you had Comey, and then over here you had Rybicki, and you had Page, and then obviously we had Strzok. Peter Strzok just being and all these people now have been either fired, removed, reassigned, etc. And so it's quite interesting to see how that clean house has happened. And it had to be you can't set the stage without this, right? Yes, Dustin?
Yeah. And he goes through kind of the hierarchy there beforehand, some of the guilty parties next post, and he goes through a lot of them having been fired or removed from power. Some of these old posts that are coming back up as just reminders now of where we were and kind of where we're going into.
Yeah, and why it's taken so long, right? I know people were frustrated with that, but It takes some time when you have that much corruption at the very top of the FBI and the DOJ. And then he took 3481 to say, important to remember, correlation between FISA abuse, treason, removed DE POTUS, and mid-year investigation Kyoo, which is some more details that he posted again. This one was actually this one didn't even have a date on it. But what's the interesting about this one, it added this PDB, right? Presidential Daily Briefing. So guess who else knew? President Obama himself knew about the whole thing going on. And so that was the whole fired FBI leadership. Then we moved to 3483, and we get into another drop from August 30th, and it had a link of President Donald Trump tweet. We can't see that because it's a picture. But it says, everything stated has meaning. What is the significance of Nellie Orr being fluent in Russian? Is Russian a common language to learn? Why might this language be studied? The position might this language be useful? What position might this language be useful? The farm requires select skill sets. Q. And he amplifies on that, says, why is Bruce Orr still at justice? Nellie Orr, C_A, fluent in Russian? And it has a Fox News article here about congressional investigators seeking Nellie Orr's opposition research. Regards on Trump family. Q. Any thoughts there, Dustin?
Well, we remember that Bruce Orr is kind of turning over and helping and testifying against many of the bad co-conspirators to save Nellie Orr.
Yeah.
And the farm, obviously CIA reference, she must have been groomed from early on. Russian language is maybe it might sound romantic for a little while, but I've never actually met someone that studied Russian language in the U.S. before. Nothing against it, but it wouldn't be a common thing for sure.
Yeah, exactly right. And the fact that she was doing all this research, and it just shows you how powerful this projection was. They literally tried to get Trump for colluding with the Russians when they were doing that very thing, actually having Russian spies working back channel into her husband in the DOJ. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, and it's amazing.
Yeah,
projection's a crazy way to muddy the waters, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. That is. So that's 3483. If you look at 3484, it takes that same post and it amplifies on it some more. And it puts another thing from September 11th, 2018. It says, panic in D.C. Bruce Orr, in an effort to save Nellie Orr, testifying against Rosenstein, Yates, Lynch, and Comey? With a question mark. Q. And this is interesting because he didn't amplify it any more than the other, just to kind of putting the two together from what you said. But what's interesting, he actually lists who she might be testifying against. Rosenstein, Yates, Lynch, and Comey.
Yeah, I think Lynch is in a very difficult position because of she's busted. They've got her at the tarmac meeting. She's in a lot of trouble. Comey clearly is on the hook. he's going to go down for treason. He's trying to get ahead of it with all of his virtue signaling and moralism. He's really good at acting like a moral man, but actions speak louder than his words, clearly. And Rosenstein, we remember how creepy and corrupt and smirking he was. He was almost as bad as Stroke with his almost untouchable era of authority or something. He always struck me as a real corrupt type, and then Yates no better than the rest. They're all going down for treason.
Yeah. Yates. I don't know if you follow SB2 and give him much credence, but he's talking about Yates being potentially, because of the Adam's apple, might be just like Michelle Obama, might be a man as well.
Yeah, common theme up there, right?
That is 3483. So if that's the case, they had that in the White House and the DOJ at the same time. Kind of scary, right? So this is 3483. Gets into a drop from August 30th, and we read that, right? The Farm and Nellie Orr, etc. Okay, yeah, you're right. I already went through that one. 3485. It's got two previous posts from 314 and 328. It says, remember this important fact: Adam Schiff is part of the Gang of Eight intel. It will become critical once Gang of Eight material is declassified. Logical question. If Adam Schiff knew everything he's investigating and stated publicly to be knowingly false disinformation, why then would he take the course of actions ongoing? Did Adam Schiff purposely deceive the American public, thinking the Gang of Eight material plus other classified documentation would never reach the public domain? What insurance did they hang over POTUS head in order to prevent action? A father's love for his children knows no bounds. Kyoo.
Yeah, I remember they were trying to go after his children at one point as well, and this really just brings up the point that Adam had something that he was willing to take this great risk for. He knew he was lying. He knew that Nunes and others knew that he was lying.
Yep.
He still took the risk, and I think that really is the greatest example yet of the guilt of some of those allegations that he was involved with, like the Standard Hotel and that suspicious murder and the cover-up and the child trafficking allegations around that hotel. I think there's a lot of smoke around those allegations, and this would make sense if you're willing to go lie to the American people in such a bold way, knowing you might get called. Yeah. You've got to really be protecting someone or some secret that you're willing to go down for. And
it's almost like there's only one course of action because he's gone so far that he has to take Trump out. That's kind of like the only one. Yeah. And then this go just from 328. It has a tweet from Donald Trump. It says, Congressman Adam Schiff, who spent 2 years knowingly and unlawfully lying and leaking, should be forced to resign from Congress. Knowingly, in brackets all three times. Leaking investigations can lead to forced resignations. Knowingly disseminating false information is illegal. Gang of Eight intel. Kyoo. And then he just amplifies on it again with, in brackets, in capital letters, knowingly. Kyoo. Woo! Tell you what,
it's coming.
Can you imagine Adam Schiff reading that?
Easy to prove. Adam Schiff, his eyes are just bulging out tonight. He's so afraid.
Yeah.
He's drunk again, I'm sure.
Yeah, 3486 gets into another redrop, and this is all the letter. I wish I had time to go back and look these up. I just didn't have time with my travel and everything.
This is why I quit debating Kyoo, by the way.
You
bunch all at once to try to pull these things out of memory and then try to regurgitate.
Yeah.
Setting, possibly with the debate opponent. They can't do it. Not anymore. There's too many.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have SPY-OP in brackets, and then it has White House Hussein, and VJ, obviously Valerie Jarrett, and it lists a lot of other people here. And this is talking about I think the White House is in this whole brackets. So it's got a lot of things that obviously at JK and 3 brackets, which I thought was interesting. But he was more a State Department guy. But it doesn't list the State Department, so I imagine the JK is John Kerry. And then they got JB in here. Could that be John Brennan? But it's talking about the White House. He would be more the CIA. They list JC.
That might even just be the daily presidential briefings.
Okay, that might be right.
It might be part of those as well. But we do know that a lot of the White House staff were guilty as well.
Yeah, so the DNI, it's clearly James Clapper. DOJ, Loretta Lynch is really clearly Sally Yates. And then when it says BO minus CS, I think that's talking about Bruce Orr and Christopher Steele, because it says UK. And it says DL, PS, DL, JC. So I think that's Peter Strzok and James Comey. MM, RB, DL. I'm not going to try to get all these BCs. Obviously, Bill Clinton. I don't know if any of those jump out at you. Like this, I was confused with the DM up by Hussein and Valerie Jarrett. So I'd have to go back to some of these. But boy, a lot of people are corrupt.
A lot of them are back on that reminder 3482 where he put that big pink picture up.
Yeah.
The ones that were fired already.
Uh-huh.
That's a good place to start.
Okay, yeah, you're probably right. So I'm not going to take the time on this since we're already digging into quite a bit of time, but really intriguing to kind of go back and really see this. But he's actually the FBI is pretty easy because, like you said, they're all back there. That's a James Comey and you can just read through all these and you can the Bill Precept and the Peter Strzok and the Lisa Page and you can track those back pretty easily.
Yeah, these are all part of what you would save offline because that's coming.
Yeah.
Archive these things offline. This is your guide to deconstruct what's about to happen.
Yeah, you got no name listed here to the media. Obviously, we know that John Brennan and James Comey. I'm sorry, John Brennan and James Clapper were the real leakers in this, and to POTUS, and he was involved because of the daily briefings. This is looking at Fusion GPS being the shell. Using, I imagine this is Christopher Steele to no name. Perkins Coie was obviously they were trying to launder the money from Hillary to the Fusion GPS. Washington Free Beacon, another shell. HRC, JP, RM, DNC, there's DWS, Debbie Watterman Schultz, and James Comey. So you can see that this really is a great way to see. Kyoo outlined way back in 18 exactly who's involved in all this type of stuff. Tarmac meeting, go between Hussein, 3 national security orders official. POTUS can declass, bottom to top, see how. FBI DOJ to expand fast. FISA, apps, false, activate domestic spy campaign. UK assist, feed to C_A, cannot operate domestically. JB, they never thought she would lose. Kyoo. Woo! And he amplifies on that and saying just important to remember, public guide D-class Kyoo. So this is huge. When this cuts down, I mean, when you basically have the messiahs of the left of both Hillary as well as Hussein and even Bill Clinton being nailed in this and all the people they worked with, ooh.
No one can defend some of the things that are coming out. Even the people they're paying in the media to defend them won't touch it.
Yeah.
What's coming is they won't even be, they won't feel safe walking down the streets, and of course not calling for any violence, but they won't feel like welcome in society anymore. People will taunt them, people will hate them, people will ridicule them and demand for their heads to roll, justice-wise. Legally, of course, speaking for treason, for the harming of so many American citizens and children, things like that in many cases.
Yeah. You know what I was shocked about? Speaking of the 4 a.m. talking points, just being on the same talking point, is the Democrats that interviewed Mueller were all in lockstep, not only with nobody's above the law and here you obstructed justice and it's so obvious and we as Congress need to take action. But the media didn't back him this time. The media was going, it was shocking to me to see the media not be on the same talking point. I guess it was that bad, right?
I remember a while back, Kyoo kind of said they were really starting to turn on each other, and we're beginning to see that that friction.
Yeah, that was like wow. So the best thing that could have happened for this movement was them to have Mueller up on the stage, right? To just with them.
The best thing I would say on top of that is that we had to go through the entire process, the entire stupid blockade, the entire false witch hunt investigation. We needed every bit of it to get here.
Yeah, otherwise people won't be waking up, right? It's like, wow. And just to see how weak Mueller was just shocking to me. And just, I mean, I thought he might have just been sick when he did his little 9-minute deal, but that's clearly it's his state now. He's in a bad physical state.
Yeah, I think a lot of that was sort of, feigned. I think it was false. He was kind of faking it to just
try to get empathy.
Flex, empathy and minimize the threat, and then also kind of stutter through some things by time, but also to minimize the amount of blowback, because he's hated by both sides now.
Yeah, whoa.
It's better to be stupid than a traitor to the left, right?
Yeah, because they're going to body box you or hang you from a doorknob, right?
They don't have any loyalty.
Yeah.
Mob doesn't care.
So this was interesting. So this is just a link on from 3487. It's procedures for the availability or dissemination of raw signals intelligence information by the NSA. So you just post that all by itself with no comment.
You go all the way down to the bottom. It's Clapper and Lynch that signed it.
Yeah, so it's a signature block, right?
Yeah, that's the main thing, is that page.
Yeah, so if you go to the signature page is what they want to look at. And that was declassed, right?
Yeah, and it basically all just kind of, we all have it all. I mean, he's just kind of showing off that we have all of the paper trail.
Yeah, and is this the one that wasn't supposed to be declassified for like 35 years or something, or is that later in here? So,
I think that's something coming up.
Okay, yeah. So that was 3487. Now we go to 3488, and we're still on the 24th. I'm so sorry, Dustin. So I appreciate you helping my audience catch up, or me catch up, for late last bread. And this is talking about DNI files, government ICTR Ross Signal Intelligence Guide as approved by redacted PDF. So that's what we just saw, I believe, right? Latest last bread. And he says, important, signature page, declass for specific reason, public, analyzed carefully, relevant to future pending events. Woo, future's going to prove past on that puppy, huh?
Yeah, Lynch is going to be in a lot of trouble when they find out she tried to sell us out for that Supreme Court seat.
Yeah. 3489, Anon says, signed by Clapper and Lynch shortly after POTUS was elected. So there's that. Just kind of put that all together. You let us shortcut that. Appreciate that. That was 3490. Gets into another anon saying, check the declass on date anons classified by 24/7/6680 derived from NSA CSSM 152 declassified on here 2041 December 31. So this was the one. This has been declassified 22 years earlier than it should have been. What does that tell you?
It's happening. This is the one. Yeah. So basically it tells you that he can declass anything he wants.
Yeah, so and the declass is happening now, right? Isn't that fun? So
he's sneaking. It's Kyoo's way and it's Trump's way. He's kind of sneaking in and being kind of a smart ass about it, honestly.
Yeah.
and then later it becomes kind of the build up, the drum beat, the thunder to the big presentation. He's got a, this is Trump we're dealing with here. He's got a bit of a case for the theatrical.
No question.
I can never think too much about what we're dealing with the deep state now without thinking back to where, he was like going out on the WWE floor, like fake body slamming, other people and things like that, and doing the "you're fired" skits. It is Trump after all.
Yeah.
Humor to him.
Yeah, somebody sent me one this other day where he was doing something silly, and he was telling chicken in a chicken story. He's acting like in a skit, and he was saying you're fried versus you're fired. It's like
he's done some funny stuff.
He has done. So here, and this ends with it saying archive and save will become extremely important. Q. Yeah. So all this.
Scrub it.
Wow, it's like woo! They tried to hide it all. And it makes me also think that the whole where they sealed Obama's records of where he's from and everything. That'll be real interesting when we get to find that out. 3491. This is a picture of Epstein. It says, breaking. Jeffrey Epstein found injured in New York City jail cell after possible suicide attempt or assault. Now take it, remember this is the New York Times. I know NBC, right? It's talking about this. It's an NBC article that talks about that. I read through that as well. It's marks on his neck, was in the fetal position. And they interviewed his cellmate or another person that had contact with him, and they don't think he did anything. So there's a lot of this. It says eyes on Kyoo, and this is on the 24th, and then we got some more later here on the 25th. Any thoughts from you on that, Dustin?
Well, I was up all night dealing with this till 3 a.m. because it was sort of breaking at the time, and there was a bunch of people talking about it. Of course, at first it was speculation. We were thinking maybe he did try to kill himself, but then no, that didn't make sense because he's got an appeal coming up. We were thinking maybe someone tried to kill him, but that didn't make sense because why didn't they finish the job? Especially if it's another prisoner, they would get in a lot of trouble if they failed and didn't get away with it. And then we were thinking, just kind of a joking, maybe it was date night with Bubba, but I don't know. I think that it kind of in the last, I guess, couple of, almost full day now, we've seen a little bit of context, but still don't really know anything for sure. I don't think they've moved into suicide watch or anything. So if he actually did try to kill himself, that would automatically put him in like a little room with a paper gown and nothing else.
Yeah, interesting stuff. And so here in 3492, it says Epstein likely staged an attack or suicide attempt to get out on bail, is what the summary says here. I'm not sure if that's correct, but this is a post that says, was the Manhattan power outage an attempt to take out Epstein? And this is an anon talking, I think. How do you eliminate a liability? No, this is Kyoo. How do you eliminate a liability? Where is Epstein being held? Reconcile. Do you believe in coincidence? Power. People connected. Powerful people connected. Panic. Kyoo. And then there's the article, painfully obvious or willfully ignorant, ? Kyoo. So that Socratic method's working. We're all thinking about all the possibilities, right?
Yeah, and then the term power being capitalized, and then of course the power outage at that time also, which there's been multiple, which are unusual, I think. And I think I heard Praying Medic or someone has been kind of covering those power outages around New York, but these were already kind of suspicious, and the fact that they're happening coinciding with where he is, of course there's going to be attempts to kill him. Of course there will be attempts to take him out, because as Kyoo has made numerous references to, he is the weak link. He is now a liability. How do you eliminate a liability? And when I think there was one not too long ago about what happens when the blackmail no longer works, you become a liability at that point, and they have to a loose end. So, clearly this is just, if you take away kind of the mystery of the internet, the mystery of QAnon, the mystery of and the darkness of some of this, like, child torture stuff, this is just gang stuff. This is just mafia stuff, right? That's all it really is. And if you think about it in like a mafia movie term, everything here makes complete sense, and none of it's hard to believe. Of course, they're going to try to kill him. He's got dirt on a bunch of pedophiles of power. Yeah. He's got a black book, and he's the weak link.
That is interesting. And then this picture here, 3493. We're on the 25th. Yeah, we're there. It's got a picture of an ugly little bed here with a ladder. And what's your thoughts on this picture?
This is the island, temple, actually. This is the little temple island that had the gold dome that supposedly blew off with the storm. This is the one that supposedly, according to, was it NBC, I think? They said this was a gym. According to some other place, they said it was a piano room. Yeah, and,
I saw that.
I tried to swing the gym thing, and they said, oh, but he had topless women pictures in there, right?
Yeah.
Now we already know. I mean, this is close-up drone footage because now people are scoping the island out. But we already knew, first of all, there's a ton of little mattresses there, and that's a weird thing to see. But if you look at some of the other pictures,
it's not
a gym. Definitely not a gym. And some of the other pictures that are coming out now are showing like industrial level, underground base level ventilation systems, like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. big pipes coming out of the back of the building. That's not normal.
And he confirmed that Anon was right there, right? That's what's so great about the hive mind of these Anons, right? Some of them have real deep specialties and things that nobody else would, like ventilation, like as an example, right?
Yeah, that's finding, watching patterns or certain specialties like the people that look for planes and transponder stuff.
Yeah.
They watch the skies for us. There's people that kind of watch the water. There's people that can find anything anywhere. And there's people that get drone footage like this. I actually have some original this Palm Beach place from someone that I know that has a drone or knew someone with a drone, I think.
Yeah.
So there's this kind of stuff is coming out now, and we're going to get all in their secrets.
That's right. So you can see the summary here does say photo of multiple mattresses inside of Epstein Island temple. And it says ABC News told us it was just a gym inside of the temple, Kyoo. And then somebody else gets joking, like you said, they didn't have the 4 a.m. talking points because they said the wrong thing. Here's 3494 has a tweet from Christine Polon1. It says, expand your thinking. And guess who Christine Polon1 is? I think she's online. She was online the last hour. Lady Warren. She's on quite often here. So Lady Warren, if you're on, let us know. But here she is. I'm not sure if this is the first time she got queued or she's been queued multiple times. But look what I found from the PDF Kyoo just posted. Mind-blowing. The words knowingly, gang of 8, C, D, and E. And so she put together all the different Kyoo posts here. And I can't remember if it was a thread. I think it was a little bit of a thread. She says, QAnon drops. Here another one. She says Kyoo 3488 is a PDF. And she's pulling up some other things, but I just wanted to say congratulations, Lady Warnon. She's I think she's one of my moderators here, so it's pretty awesome to see her get that.
Yeah.
And I think it was pretty good work that she did, but it was pretty obvious just past Kyoo post, right, about knowingly.
Mm-hmm.
I think is what
she pulled it all up, made it easy for people on Twitter to see as well.
Exactly. I didn't see this part. Is this part just talking about the signature page?
This is the actual laws that were broken. If you look through there, it's just about some of the.
Okay. I didn't see this when I was on my phone on the plane. I saw this, but I didn't see this last one. That is interesting.
Yeah, and it completely boomerangs again back on them because this could completely fit Ilhan Omar, for example.
Yeah, no question. But that is awesome. So now, now I see what she did. She not only pulled all of the stuff together, she actually pulled the law that shows that Shifty Schiff is in trouble because these actual codes, he broke like 3 of them, right? And that's why they say knowingly 3 times because it's the C, D, and E. Knowingly engages in sabotage or incremental terrorism. Knowingly enters the United States under a false or fraudulent identity on or behalf of foreign power. Knowingly aids or abets any person in the conduct of activities described in paragraphs A through C. So, boy, knowingly. Now, I didn't realize why there was 3 of them. Now I do. So, I'm learning as I go here. 3495. You got, do you trust the media? Do you trust the media, Dustin?
No, only the truth media, the new media, like us.
Yeah.
Consideration.
That's exactly right. So there's Maria saying, while Inside Edition told it was a music room where Epstein played the piano, is IE not getting the 4 a.m. emails? And here's IE basically saying, inside there is reportedly a music room with Epstein played the piano. Right. That's not what those temples are used for. All right, yeah. That's 3495. Then 3496 gets into another USA Today article. It says, does a person who fights hard for bail then appeals the original decision attempt suicide prior to the ruling of the appeal? Logical thinking. Kyoo.
No, you would not want to do that because you would be hoping against hope that you're going to get out of there. Right.
And so, and this is the one that made me think that could it be fake news that he was even hurt? That's what I'm just. Are they just making the news up and
It could really have been as simple as him being a pedophile and people in jail
smacking him around.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. So again, this is that article that just goes into a little bit more detail, I think, on Jeffrey Epstein appeals no bail decision in child sex trafficking case. So this is the one that goes back to July 23rd to show, hey, he was waiting, that hadn't been finished yet, right? Now, and so why would he try to commit suicide when he might get out? Maybe 3497, an anon post magical kingdoms and Disney Cruise Lines. And I think part of this is if you look at the Disney, there's a 6 here, there's a 6 here, and there's a 6 here, right? So Disney has 3 6s in its in a creative way. The 6s are kind of either backwards or in different sizes, but they clearly have the 666 in there. But the big revelation here is this cruise line is where does it make a stop? Afterwards, make your way to your second snorkel stop, Little St. James Island. Woo! Where curious fish dart back and forth in the clear blue water and colorful coral formations nestle next to amazing underwater formations. Little St. James Island. And then Kyoo puts the pictures of the underground tunnels. I thought that was funny. And so any thoughts on that?
Well, they must have those beds for a reason, and generally you don't force people to live underground. Although if it was a Hobbit house, I think it could be cute. In this case, I think it obviously be snorkeling kids are probably victims. There's been cover-ups already of molestation cases on some of these Disney cruises, things of that nature.
Yeah, and they weren't like real nice beds. I'm sure that's not where Bill Clinton slept.
No, remember some of those earlier photos where they leaked out where these dungeons underneath, 3 stories deep at least, you can tell from the staircases, and they're filled with just almost like a barracks style where they're all wearing plain clothes or tunics or some sort of like jumpsuit. It looked really hard to see, but they're sitting on buckets, There are kids in dungeons down there. At one point in history, I think they filled them in now with concrete or something, but at one point in past time, it was a bad place on this island.
Yeah, it's just sickening to think about it. And it's exciting, though, to see it be exposed so we can end it. Nothing can stop what is coming. Nothing. Kyoo. He's talking about this Miami Herald article. It says, lawmaker says she's been told to back off call for probe of Jeffrey Epstein works release. So here we got threats are coming, and I'm glad people are coming out and being bold.
Yeah, I'd love to interview her. Maybe she's local to me.
That's awesome. That would be awesome. And then this 3499 says nothing with another CRB article talking about former Walt Disney VP sentenced to prison in child sex abuse investigation. There you got the 666. You can see it, right? So the D backwards, there's the backwards 6 with the D. The I, that is the dot, has a 6 there. And then you see the P has a 6 right there. There's your 666 right in the Disney logo. Wow. Scary stuff. And so this 73-year-old will have to register as a sex offender and pay a $4,000 fine. And it was a 7-year-old girl, I think it was. Mm. Right? Scary, scary stuff to see if you dig through this stuff. Whoa, just crazy. And then you have the last one I had. We'll have to refresh to see if there's more. 3,500. Somebody said there was some more, but it says confirmed Kyoo. And what was confirmed was the great work that somebody did on the ventilation systems analysis, right? So let's chat about the subterranean support systems. Ventilation much? This is not for a garage partially cut into a hill. So if you look at this, he's pointing to the details of this, and it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 separate of these valves, right? And all kinds of vents. So there's something big down there, right?
those are pretty massive, yeah.
Yeah, and I would imagine that's to keep the children imprisoned underground, is what this person was saying here. And here's some of the people that I follow. Deep State Cabal are evil and sick. Justice Time, QAnon. The Tale of Two, Sex Resort, Occult Worship of Evil. Scary stuff, guys. So and it's just think about it. They use the Clinton Foundation to literally go try to say they're helping people, and they use it for the most evil purposes you can imagine. Let me refresh, see if we have anything over 3,500 posts on Kyoo. To the right window there. There's some more here. 3501 and 3502. 3501 looks like a pretty long one, brand new one. It's talking about possible China monitored Mueller hearing. Possible China analyzing likelihood of POTUS re-election in 2020. Possible China taking steps, think propaganda, to harm POTUS regarding 2020. Possible China in secret communication with the Democratic candidates running for president regarding reinstitute U.S. piggy bank. Possible China in secret communications with former Democratic Party senior officials regarding reinstitute U.S. piggy bank. Possible China put extreme threatening pressure on North Korea the day of the Mueller hearing. Coincidence? Should hearings swing to POTUS? Possible acts were taken in an effort to lessen the Democratic blow. Possible acts were taken in an effort to change the narrative. Define false flag. Q. Woo!
This could be the mysterious object North Korea fired off that South Korea reported that no one knew anything about.
Yeah, there was 2 rockets, right, that kind of went to the east waters, and that might have been the pressure that China put on them to do this, because now
Just try to distract.
Yeah, China knows that their economy is going to be destroyed by Trump, and they're going to all their intellectual property they're stealing and all their currency manipulation is going to end, and they were becoming extremely wealthy extremely quick using those dishonest tactics, and it's just not going to happen with Trump. So we have another enemy, and Russia's not the problem. China is our threat.
Mm-hmm. They practice art of war.
Yeah, this summarizes China wants to stop POTUS re-election so they can go back to ripping off the USA. That's a good summary. I don't know. Do you know who does this board? It'd be interesting to see.
No, I don't remember who does the board. They do some fun summaries on top sometimes. It distracts me because I'm used to reading it just as plain posts.
Right. 3502 says, watch parts on Hannity tonight. I had to record it. I was too busy on some other things. So, President.
Part of it.
Did you get to see? You guys saw part of that, right? Anything?
I was watching part of it when we had to stop and start doing this, actually.
Right. Anything insightful in the early part of it?
They were just kind of, actually, for the most part, President Trump was just letting us know the Democrats had nothing. Mueller was a real, nothing burger. It was a big kind of bash, the part that I heard. And then, of course, they talked about some of the powers he had to declass or to pardon, things of that nature.
Yeah, that's exciting though. He's got to be on fire, and he's such a good communicator and just a pulpit that he's going to make sure that he rides this one a while, I would guess. So I have a bunch of other news that we don't have time to go over, but I wanted to kind of come back, and we burned up the whole hour. I wanted to come back to just your websites and making sure people know how to get a hold of you. I'm sure you're pretty well known with my audience, but in general, DustinNemos.com I think I had up and running. There's stopbitburning.com, like burning books, right? They're burning bits, as in censoring us all. So stopburning.com. What's the other website? Here it is.
That's the primary one for now. I mean, Dustin Nemos is my main website and my channel on YouTube and things, and the Nemos News Network is coming online, but Stop It Burning is where free speech makes a stand. And I think if a million patriots get together, there's nothing that can stop us. And then this QAnon movement is proof of that. Yeah. I learned my lesson from the book and then from the Q movement. Where we go one, we go all works.
Great. Now, is this newsletter the Nemos newsletter that we'd get right here if we sign up right here? Is that right?
It's just the Stop It Burning thing specifically. It's just free speech specific kind of updates. It's not the same as the Nemos News Network.
Okay, so right here, guys, sign up right now. If you don't mind, we're going to be giving updates on the bitburning.com and lawsuits against the social media that all the There's a ton of influencers are getting together to really attack that. And so here's a video you can watch. Sign up. Go ahead.
I was going to say there's a few interviews already with the attorney Todd McMurtry as well. So
yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just the fact to hear him talk about his passion and some of the things that he's going to do differently than others, it was exciting to me. People want to know update on the lawsuit. Any quick thinking there?
I just did a couple of interviews earlier today with Todd, actually, because it was earlier in the day and I was able to catch him. But basically, the short version is during those interviews, he said, within a few days, I'm hoping to have the research phase of this complete, and we're doing that so we don't just get dismissed out of hand like most of the lawsuits do. They have such strong legal protection that you've really got to figure out an attack vector. You've really got to do your homework, or you're just going to get kind of a weak dismissal. And that's fine for people that want to do a PR stunt, but this isn't a PR stunt. We really want to try to win, as I spoke to you, months ago about. So rather than that, I gave him the time he needed. I funded a research team to go in and look at things. And then about an hour or so before we went on, he says, here's the rough draft. I think it's ready. Don't tell anyone yet.
Woo.
So, it's getting there. It's exciting. That's completely news breaking right here. So as soon as he gives me the okay, maybe we can start talking whatever details he lets me talk about. We can't announce too much to the enemy, but you and I and others will talk to him behind the scenes as well.
Sounds exciting. That sounds exciting. All right. Well, do you mind if I do a turbo prayer to wrap us up?
Heck yeah, man. Let's do it.
Heavenly Father, just thank you so much for Dustin and the effort he has and the passion he has for truth. Lord, I just pray for a blessing up on this whole movement to stop the bit burning, to stop the censorship, to stop the discrimination. Lord, you know everything, Lord, and you're an omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent God, and it's so awesome to see your hand moving on this nation and across this whole patriot movement worldwide. And we just thank you for that, Lord. And we ask you to continue to expose this evil. Give the wisdom to Dustin, give wisdom to this lawyer, and allow your will to be done through all this, Lord. We love you and we thank you so much for everything you're doing now. Lord, I pray for everybody that's listening to my voice right now that you'll just, your spirit will move on them and allow every one of them to know how they can be involved in this movement as part of the army of God, as part of the movement of the Great Awakening, whatever you have called them to do. Let them know, Lord. And we say these things in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. Amen. All right, guys. Hey, thank you guys so much. Dustin, love spending time with you and looking forward to working with you the next couple of years.
Rick, thank you so much for having me on, buddy. And then it's good to see you again, and I'll keep you posted on updates.
Sounds awesome. All right, guys, that was Dustin Nemos and Decodes right along with him. I'm so glad I had him. And again, this is Rick, your host. On July 25th, stopbitburning.com. Remember to go to that site, stopbitburning.com, and sign up for the newsletter. With that, we'll catch you guys later. See you guys.